Hello, hello, hello. Time for task number 5. So, as you know, we were looking at academic task 1. We've done a process, a map, I think, and a couple of data ones. This is number 5, 3 pie charts. So, we'll take a look at a sample, then we'll take a look at yours, and we'll see what we can see. Okay. So we've got 3 pie charts. The pie charts give information on the proportion of carbohydrates, protein, and fat. 3 different diets. Average healthy diet for sport. Okay, so we can see fat 20-20-15, pretty similar, 40-50-60 for carbs, protein. Okay, that's more, so less protein. What's the 3 key features? So let me see. So healthy diet for sport, 2/3 carbs. Okay. Quarter protein, half carbs, 1/3 protein, 40. Okay, so let's take a look. So here's a sample, right, that we can use here. So the pie charts compare the proportion of carbohydrates, protein, and fat in 3 different diets, namely an average diet, a healthy diet, and a healthy diet for sport. There's nothing else that we can say. Okay, sometimes for the data ones you can mention what it's measured, the x-axis, the y-axis, and all this kind of stuff. But for this one, there's not a great deal that we can include here. So what can we do for the overview? Well, what's the key features? It is noticeable that sports people require a diet comprising a significantly higher proportion of carbs than an average diet or a healthy diet, as we can see, 60, 40, 50. The average diet contains the lowest percentage of carbs, but the highest percentage of protein. So basically, for this kind of thing, you need to look at what's the highest, what's the biggest, what's the smallest, what's the shortest, and what's the same. There's not a lot else that you can give, and you're not expected to, really. Because if you look at the criteria, it says, main trends or features. That's it. So we can paraphrase a little, but there's some things that we can't really change, and we don't need to. I mean, what else can you call carbs, protein, and fat except what they are? Carbs, protein, and fat. Can't change that. So give information, compare. There's not too much you can give. 3 different diets, average, healthy. There's not a lot that we can paraphrase here, and I wouldn't be too concerned about it. All that you've got to do is make sure that you don't simply copy the rubric as your opening sentence. Some people do. Not a good idea. So don't simply say the pie charts give information, because you won't get very far if you do that. They'll cross it out. Examiners, if it's too close, too many words that are similar, they'll cross it out. Take it away from your total score, which you don't want. So the graph illustrates 3 different diets in terms of the amount of carbs, protein, and fat. Okay. In general, it seems carbohydrates are by far the highest percentage of food. Okay. So that's okay, but it doesn't mention the sports diet or the healthy diet or a different diet in each diet. So this doesn't really mention the main trends. I mean, the trends, sports people have a higher proportion of carbs, average diet or healthy diet. So this hasn't really, in terms of the overview, it's not really identified the key features. It's kind of identified 1 or 2, but that's not sufficient for the high score there. So the pie charts compare. Now, what's the consumption servings? We don't really need that. It's the composition of the diets, 3 main ingredients. So I don't know what consumption serving, because it doesn't say anything about servings. As it is clear from the diagram, the largest proportion of carbs consumed by sportsmen. Okay, so large percentage of fat. Average and healthy diets are similar. More's already a comparative, so we don't need more. Similar. Apart from a share of protein and carbohydrates of the latter category, there's no are intended to. Latter category use more. There's no intention. and less protein than the former ones, or than the former. Okay, so not too bad. Just watch what you're doing, watch your paraphrasing, because some like things, and are intended to. No. The pie chart depicts 3 types of diet: compared, fat, protein, and carbs. Yeah, that's it. An overall view: sports people, yes, protein use, and those having a healthy. Now, that second sentence could be a little more expanded, because it's kind of doesn't really say much. Sentence 1's good. Okay, highest proportion of carbs, sports people, they use the lowest protein use. However, what's the 2 main features of the healthy diet and the average diet? So that could be expanded a little. The given pie charts contain, compare, I should say, 3 various kinds of diets. Well, they're not various kinds, just 3 kinds of diets. In terms of the percentage of carbs, protein, and fat, okay, most substantial protein of carbs, consumed healthy diet for sport, fat and protein, equal amounts of fat, blah, blah, blah. Now, that's better for an overview, right? More indication of the main features. So, that's good. 3 diets have been illustrated in pie charts. Why would you do it have been illustrated? Why is it passive? Why not simply the pie charts show XYZ. Okay, with each having different portions of carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Okay. Overall, it is clear that the high. Now, what did I make some comments? Yeah. That's 1 sentence. That's a little bit long. If you read it out aloud, so overall, it is clear that the high percentage of carbohydrate accounts for a healthier diet, as it opposed to the proportion of fat, with diets of healthy people and athletes having proportionally high percentage of carbohydrates in comparison with the average diet. If you read it out, you can see it's a little bit long. As it is opposed. I'm not so. There's some stuff here I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. So healthier diet. Well, isn't it the sports people who use more carbs? So, in comparison with so anyway, plays a moderate role. So that could be. I mean, that's a little bit long, really, for an overview. A little bit long. That sentence is far too long. So that needs to be clarified a little and be made more concise. Pie charts compare the details. Blah blah blah. And this one is a little bit short. Now, in compared with the previous one, this one's a little bit short, and it doesn't really identify the main trends. The main trend is sports people eat more carbs. And then, healthy diet, average diet, blah, blah, blah. So that doesn't really clearly identify the main trends or features. Now, should I show you this? Yeah, go on then. I'll just quickly... If it'll open, where is it? Where's that file? I'm going to show you what you've got to do. Okay. Let me just drag this over here. So get my pen. Get me pen, and I'll show you just for your illustration. So this is academic task 1. All right. Overview. So you have to have to get at least 5, you have to have an overview. So the recounting of detail is mainly mechanical, no clear overview. So the more you support the overview, right? Information is appropriately selected. An overview is presented. Clear overview. Main trends or differences are identified. So that's what you've got to do to get at least a 7, right? What specifically? Clear overview, not some people eat more carbs. The main trends or differences, you must identify them. Key features, clearly presented, highlighted, etc. Okie doke. So that's what you've got to do for that. So the pie charts illustrate blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's good. But overview. Is that clearly presenting and identifying the main trends? It's very short. Single sentence. So you need to work on that. Okie doke. So not bad, not bad. Now I know this was a little tricky, you know, but still it's a possibility that you may get something such as this. So there's the overview of a good sample. Okay, you notice some were far too short, one or two were far too long. So that's all that you need. Just clearly identify those key features. Okay, so what's the highest, what's the lowest, etc. Okay, get used to that, you'll be fine. So see you next time. I think we're doing an essay task next, so I'll see you in the next video.